Gardening. It boosts our mood, our mental well-being, our physical health. It feeds us, brings us peace and joy, draws whole communities together. No matter if you're a sophisticated horticulturalist, a flower adorer, or just starting to get green-fingered. No matter if your plants live in a pot or your garden blooms in full. No matter if you like to work with your hands or look for digital inspiration. No matter what season or stage of life, every bit of green planted helps us breathe a little easier and moves us closer to a better, more sustainable future. And we want the whole world to feel it. There are no rules. All it takes to garden is the passion to do so. Realize your gardening dreams. Gardena.
This is the Premier Garden Show. And here is your host, Anthony Volkner.
It's good to be back. Delighted to be back again recording podcasts. Guys, what a season 3 it was. From our first guest to our last guest. Like, from audio to video, season 3 was literally much more than I expected to be. So much emotion, confidence. It was absolutely something I'll never forget. 35 guests decided to take a chance and jump on and have a chat with myself. And some of them started off in audio, but we finished off in video. What started off with Patrick Weiser in January 2025 finished off with the legend Dermot Gavin as our 35th guest. Season 3 will be always hard to beat. I suppose having conversations with friends, was it possible to have a guest every week for the whole season again, like we did last season? Should I have, I suppose, have a guest on every 2 weeks? And that was probably the plan, because I suppose I didn't think that I would reach the pinnacle that I did last season. And as I literally ended 2025, just going into Christmas even, I already had asked a few guests, but I had lots of guests contact me saying they were interested in jumping on my podcast. So as I started off in January 2026, I now have 15 weeks of guests lined up. Guys, this is going to be a big season. Now, those of you will notice the background is the same, but we are going to change this background over the coming few weeks. You will see difference behind me. So it is going to be changed as we go on. Also, there'll be plans for recording with 2 cameras. So there are changes happening for season 4. Also, the plans for season 4, as I said, is a guest every single week, which is tough. But as I said, up as far as sometime around April, we are secured with weekly guests. And they kick off next week, next Wednesday. New day. It'll be every Wednesday. It'll be at 8 p.m. and it will be available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and you can also catch all the details of all my episodes on my Facebook page, Instagram page, TikTok page, the works. We are everywhere. Also, you can still contact or email the Premier Garden Show, the Premier Garden Show at hotmail.com. Love to hear from you. And also this season, we plan to, I suppose, launch some sort of a website that we can, put up tips and stuff like that. And I'm very pleased to say last season we had, I suppose, a guest on at one time during the year, Kieran Burke from Johnson Garden Centre. And he was as a guest on my podcast last season. And we ended up becoming a bit of a co-presenter for every month. And every month we had Kieran jump on and talk to us all about the tips and what plants to look out for and everything like that. And that worked out so well. And I'm delighted to say Kieran is joining us again this season. And what I want to try, because we did plan to do it last season, we didn't get to do it. But what I want to do this season, is have, I suppose, live monthly podcasts with myself and Kieran. And they will be on the Instagram or Facebook pages. So that is the plan for the monthly gardening podcast with me and Kieran. And also, this season we're going back to Bloom, but this season we are going back to Bloom big time. We are going to bring a lot more live talks from Bloom. We're going to be visiting every single show garden and also talking to those, I suppose, of the postcard gardens, which I always find fascinating. When I go to Bloom, I always check out the postcard gardens because they're very, very, I suppose, it's a lot easier to design a garden when you have a lot more space. But these postcard gardens are literally tiny. And I want to kind of talk to them a bit more this year as well. So that's the plan going forward. As I said, lots of guests lined up, still guests to sort out and talk to. Some of them are very, 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 very big in the gardening world. And also this year, I do want to try and get involved and chat to amateur gardeners. So if you're an amateur gardener around Ireland, please do get in touch with myself at the Premier Garden Show on Facebook, the Premier Garden Show, or Instagram, or as I said, the email which I gave before. So that's it. We lead into, I suppose, season 4, our first guest. Last season, I suppose, we kicked off the show with a former super garden designer. And also this guy has had 2 show gardens at Bloom. He had one in 2025 and he also had one in 2024. And that guy was Patrick Weiser. And Patrick was my first guest of season 3. And we're launching season 4 next week with actually the queen of the show gardens at Bloom. Delighted to have this lady come on and kick season 4 off. None other than Kerry Gardner. She is the woman that glues all these show gardens in Bloom together. She does a fantastic job. She's down to earth. I've had so many conversations with Kerry about many projects and stuff that I was talking about. And I'm delighted to have Kerry be our first guest next Wednesday night. You can check that episode at 8 p.m. on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and details all over our social media platforms. So guys, that's about it. I'm going to give you a little bit of an insight. Those of you that I suppose are new to the Premier Garden Show, those of you that don't know who I am, a little bit of about background I'm going to talk a little bit about. And I suppose I started off on my journey in gardening back in 1999. And it was one of these opportunities that I didn't think I had really any interest in gardening. And when you're kind of looking for a job and you're stuck, things just fall into place. And I got the opportunity to learn my trade from the late and great Paul O'Gorman from my own town. Paul took me under his wing, gave me a chance, showed me the ropes, helped me, I suppose, learn the basics of gardening. And I went on to work for one or two others before I kind of done my own bit. And fast forward to 2017, I decided to go on to RT Super Garden over here in Ireland. And I applied for Super Garden, and I was lucky enough to get a call back and to, I suppose, do out a bit of homework for, which I did, but I think I wasn't prepared. I didn't prepare myself for it, and I kind of knew I didn't. And when I got that call to say I didn't make it, I kind of knew that call was coming, because I know to my own heart I didn't give everything I could have give back in 2017. So flash forward to 2018, I reapplied and went all guns blazing, created a design for the homework design that literally blew me away. Then I got the phone call and I got chosen to be one of the 5 designers on Super Garden. And that changed everything for me. It gave me a chance to be on, I suppose, a program that I looked at for years. And as a novice designer, you do like watching these programs. And I followed Super Garden for years before I was on it. And I have to say, it was probably one of the best times of my life. It was a tough journey, and a little bit disappointed that I didn't, I suppose, do certain things with my design. I always wanted to keep it for the family, to make sure the family enjoyed it and got what they wanted out of my design, which meant, I suppose, I didn't take much of a risk. I think that time, not taking that risk was probably one of my downfalls of not winning Super Garden. But still, I went on and up to the Bloom Festival and got voted for the Viewers' Choice Award. And really, that means so much to me. That trophy is still pride in my sitting room. I owe hundreds of people have voted for me, from my own town to other towns in Tipperary, especially Cahir, to all over Ireland, England, and I suppose far away than that, that voted for my garden at Super Garden, and I claimed the Viewers' Choice Award in 2018. So that's a little bit about me. Then I suppose slight bits in COVID came along, and I suppose I wanted to start some sort of a thing, and I decided to start my podcast, and that's when I started the Premier Garden Show podcast in 2020 was when COVID. Season 1 and 2 were literally just, I suppose, not major. And it was season 3 that I decided to do this full belt. And as I said, 35 guests came on last season, and it's been madness since. So literally, thanks so much for everyone that watches, listens, follows my social media pages, and here's to a good season 4. So next week, keep that date, 8 p.m. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Season 4 kicks off with me having a chat with Kerry Gardiner on the Premier Garden Show. And as I always say, mind yourself, mind each other, but enjoy your gardening. Until next week on the Premier Garden Show.
Thanks for listening to the Premier Garden Show, and we will see you in the next episode. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and join all our social media.
Gardening. It boosts our mood, our mental well-being, our physical health. It feeds us, brings us peace and joy, draws whole communities together. No matter if you're a sophisticated horticulturalist, a flower adorer, or just starting to get green-fingered. No matter if your plants live in a pot or your garden blooms in full. No matter if you like to work with your hands or look for digital inspiration. No matter what season or stage of life, every bit of green planted helps us breathe a little easier and moves us closer to a better, more sustainable future. And we want the whole world to feel it. There are no rules. All it takes to garden is the passion to do so. Realize your gardening dreams. Gardena.